The psychology of losing trades is about managing yourself, not the market. If you can accept, learn, move without ego or revenge, you'll be able to turn every loss into an investment in your growth in trading. That being said, my name is Rocky Calvin, and today we're going to be talking about the psychology of losing trades. And in our discussion, or in this lecture, we're going to be having acceptance of losses, ego and attachment, fear and hesitation, the spiral of emotions, and reframing losses. Now, when we begin with acceptance of losses, the first truth in trading psychology is that losses are inevitable. And even the best traders in the world lose trades. The difference lies in acceptance. You see, beginners see a loss as a failure. When they lose a trade, they see a failure. Okay? But professional see it as a cost of trading or as a cost of business. Okay? Now, if you cannot accept a loss, then emotions will always, dictate your decisions. And this being said, I often, don't usually like it when traders, especially the upcoming traders, often feel that if you're their mentor or if they look up to you, you're not supposed to be losing trades. And if you lose a trade, and especially if they were in the same position, then that simply means that you're not a guru, you're not really a mentor. But guys, the fact is that no matter how good you are, no matter how your strategy is, no matter how great you are, losing in trading is inevitable. Once you accept this fact that nothing is perfect, because losing happens because first of all, nothing in this world is perfect. Trading itself isn't perfect. It's not perfect. The markets are not perfect. You as a human being, the way you do your analysis and so on, you're not perfect. And all these things will always lead to one thing: losses. But what can we do? What we can do is that we ensure that our losses do not, uh, you know, um, do not dictate, or they don't take over the winning ones. Okay, meaning that even if you're losing, your reward ratio or your strategy, once you have a back tested strategy and you have something that's really working well, you're supposed to be, winning at the end of at the end of the day, because that's the most important thing. It's not about winning trades right now, it's about the end goal. So when we talk about ego and attachment, so many traders tie their self-worth, into winning, and whenever they lose, they often feel personally attacked or inadequate. Now, this ego attachment fuels revenge trading, and where one tries to win back losses quickly, often with the poor risk control. Now, the result, even bigger losses. And this is something that me personally, as a trader, had struggled with. And sometimes I do struggle with it a little bit because I'm a human being too, guys. I'm not perfect than anybody. I'm not better than you. It's only that you're not seeing things in the right manner, the way they're supposed to be. I see it is not better than you. It's only that maybe there's something you still do not know, and maybe lack the experience. You see, and so many times, like me personally, when I was raised up, or when I was being raised up, we are often raised up in a community whereby we are always often told we have to put up a fight to win. No matter what, we have to win, we have to win. And you see, these things often enter into our minds when we are kids, and they psychologically starts, to affect on how we behave in even when we become adults. And trading will only expose those habits that were hidden in there. So, for example, when you have that ego and and attachment to winning, that you cannot accept a loss, because when you are kids, you have that problem, that because somebody, maybe your teacher tried to compare you with another student, and they say that you see so and so is better than you, so you have that trauma inside you, that you want to prove, like you want to put up a fight to show that you're also good. And that's where the ego and not accepting losses comes from. So you have to put up a fight in the markets, and you see that always end up into revenge trading, and more losses and more losses and more losses. So you just have to accept and know, first of all, that where are you coming from? You have a problem of ego and pride, and you have a problem of too much attachment into the results. So once you know these are your problems, you start working on them one after the other. Okay. Now, when you go to the third one, where we're going to be talking about the fear and hesitation. So most of the time after loss, traders may hesitate to take the next valid setup. Now, fear of being wrong again, clouds judgment. Now, This leads to paralysis by analysis, missed opportunities, and inconsistent execution. How many times have you, after a loss now, another setup comes in and now you just feel like, this is gonna do the same thing that you don't want to go back to that feeling of losing. You don't want to go back to that pressure. You don't want to go back to that pain. So whenever a good opportunity comes in, you end up having hesitation and fear of taking that next setup. Yet it was very valid. It was a winning trade, and this is something that also Mark Douglas talks about in the trading in the zone, whereby he gives an example of someone being bitten by a dog, and then they get traumatized and they have this fear of dogs. So whenever they see a dog, even if it is a new dog that is so calm and just so friendly, they still have that fear that this dog is gonna bite me. Yet that dog doesn't even have that aggressiveness, you see. So it's just something that happens in our psychology, in our human mind, that we often fear going through the same pain and going through the same issues again. Okay. And all these I'm saying so that you can be able to see the patterns in your trading journey, so that you can be able to find ways to overcome them, because you cannot solve a problem without first of all identifying the problem. And I'm here outlining them, how this problem affects us, because I'm a trader. I've gone through these things. Okay. So when you go to the spiral of emotions, which will be our fourth topic, or subtopic. Now, one loss can create a domino effect, sorry. So first of all, you're likely to be in a shock. Now, like a disbelief that the setup failed, like completely shocked, like this was an A plus setups. How could it fail? How could it be? Like you're in that shock. Okay. We're here talking about the spiral of emotions, where we're gonna be having shock, anger, fear, and desperation. And on the other hand, anger is also gonna come in, where we're gonna be having frustrations at the market. Or maybe if it was a signal, maybe your mentor gave you or somebody gave you, and then it just lost, then you're going to be having that anger and frustration to that person, or to yourself, or even to the market. That's where anger kicks in. And after that, now fear. Now fear is, now you're trying to avoid the next trade, because you don't want to feel that pain anymore. You're not trying to, because our brains, the way they're programmed, the way they are, is that we are so good at detecting problems and creating a mechanism to defend ourselves against them. So we don't want to go through that pain anymore, so the brain starts telling you avoid, avoid, avoid. But you see, whatever you are identifying as pain is not really pain. It's just you're not seeing things in the correct manner. Okay. Now, then comes now the desperation. Now the desperation, where now you start over leveraging to recover. Understanding this emotional spiral is the first step in breaking free. You must understand how shock, anger, fear, and desperation usually plays. Guys, these things I'm talking about here, right now, they have happened in your trading. Just go take a look at them closely. You realize that at some point you started with shock, then you go to anger, then fear comes in, then desperation. Now you want to win back. You don't care about whatever happens. You just want to win back, and you just want to pass that challenge. You want to get that payout. You want to make that money. And that leads to more and more problems. And that is the spiral of emotions. Now, on the last subtopic that we're going to be talking about now, reframing the losses, which is an important one. Now, finally, I want you to understand that losing trades are feedback. They're not failure. They tell you something about your system, timing or discipline. A disciplined trader logs losses. They review them. They extract lessons. Over time, this transforms losses into tuition fees, and maybe for mastery and gaining the experience. So you have to look at them in the right manner. If your losses often happen because of discipline, if you're logging trades, you know that this is a discipline problem. If you're journaling is so important. You'll see that cycle, things keep on repeating themselves, then you'll be able to identify this is the problem I'm dealing with. Okay. And you'll eventually understand that this is not a matter of failure. This is you gaining that experience and you paying that tuition fees for mastery. Before you become a master, you must go through this high and lows. And that being said, I don't want to make this video too long. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and it was informative. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And see you in the next one. Cheers.